Hey, I'm Dr. Michael Lange. We want to age as gracefully as possible, don't we? So is there enough evidence out there that proves that certain specific nutrients, ingredients, or supplements can enhance, our skin, our joints, our hair, our nails? And there's a lot of great science that's come out recently with marine collagen tripeptides, riceramides, hyaluronic acid, and there's a new supplement called Dermaval. Well, we've taken all four of those and we've combined it in a supplement called Rejuvenate. 3 delicious flavors, chocolate, cherry vanilla, pink lemonade, and then we have it unflavored for those of you that want to just put it in your coffee in the morning. It's worth a try. I endorse it, obviously, 100%. If you don't like it, we'll give you money back. It's as simple as that. So check it out at Fortifeye.com.
Begins in 10 seconds.
When it comes to your health, are you seeing the check engine light come on more than normal? It's time to get under the hood. It's time for Ask the Doctor with Dr. Michael Lange. Sponsored by Lange Eye Institute and Fortifeye Vitamins. Dr. Lange is a board-certified optometric physician and certified nutrition specialist, helping people see and feel better through proper nutrition for 25 years. The doctor is in. Call now with your questions at 813-282-8283. That's 813-282-8283. Here's your host, Dr. Michael Lange.
Alrighty. Good morning and welcome to Ask the Doctor. I should say Ask the Doctors. It's Dr. Michael Lange and Dr. Susan Somerton. We're here to answer any and all questions regarding your vision, eye care, and any nutritionally related topic. If you're new to the program, who's Dr. Lange? Well, I'm a board-certified optometric physician. I'm a certified nutritional specialist. I've been hosting Ask the Doctor since April of 1993. By the way, it's the longest-running syndicated live radio talk show in the country. So it is a live call-in show. And like I said, it's dedicated to you, the listener. I'm going to give you the toll-free number. We're coast to coast, so it's all over the Ask the Doctor network, coast to coast. And we're also live video streaming all over the world. So it could be good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, just depending on what part of the globe you're viewing. So the phone number is 813-282-8283. That's 813-282-8283. We got a big show today. We're going to talk a little bit about GLP1 receptor drugs, how they are very good for you if you're overweight, but has some potential downfalls and what we can do to minimize some of these downfalls. But anyway, first I want to say hello to my co-host, Dr. Susan Somerton. Good morning, Dr. Somerton.
Good morning, Dr. Lange and our listeners. I'm calling here from the Villages. It's already 81 degrees outside. The feels like temperature of about 97. So I know, like you said, we're going to talk a little bit about hydration with everybody in the warm weather, making sure we stay hydrated and keep healthy.
Yep, it's going to be a big topic also. And I also want to tell everybody that we're going to be at the Fit Expo. It's in about, I think it's in 2 weeks. I could be wrong. It could be 1 week. It could be 3 weeks. I think it's 2 weeks over at the fairgrounds in Tampa Bay. So you got to just Google that and find out. But Fortifeye is one of the sponsors. We've been there for, years and years. We usually have a big turnout. So you can come by and chat with me and the Fortifeye Vitamin team at the Fit Expo at the fairgrounds in a few weeks.
So come on out. We'll be there Saturday and Sunday. Also, yesterday was the first day of Dr. Mike's boot camp. Okay. You say, what is that? I do it every now and then when I become overweight. When I look at my pictures and my images on this Ask the Doctor and I start to look like a pork chop, then I say, geez, I got to start taking some weight off. So I've gained a little weight, and thanks for my daughter going to Tulane, been visiting New Orleans quite a bit and, eating some of that Creole and Cajun food and maybe a bit too much. So I was 211 pounds on the scale yesterday morning at the beginning of my boot camp. I was 207.7 this morning. So it's all about calories burned and calories intake. So I did a lot of cardio and I ate a lot less, but you got to have high protein when you're dieting, when you're losing weight and exercising. You got to pound the protein. And we're going to be talking about that in just a few minutes. But we already got some callers. Let's go to, I think it's Henry and Metairie. Metairie, Louisiana, my old stomping grounds. Henry, good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Absolutely.
I wondered if you had any information about a product that was invented by a Dr. Sidney Bush. And I heard an infomercial a few days ago, and the ingredients I was able to write down included, maybe not all, maybe I got some wrong, was quercetin, alpha lipoic acid, lutein, lycopene, rutin. And I know you can't diagnose or make any claims or anything like that, but one of his representatives claimed that this improved his eyesight. He was starting to lose his eyesight, getting floaters and things like that. I wondered if you could expound on it or tell me anything about it.
Well, I'm not familiar with the Mr. Bush. I'm not familiar with that particular supplement. Those are some good carotenoids and some good antioxidants. And there are some studies that indicate that those specific ingredients are very good for the eye. Now, the question is, sometimes if it sounds too good to be true, it can be. You got to be very careful. If anybody is promoting a vitamin, all right, that says it's reversing their degeneration and improving their vision, you got to be very, very careful. I've been in this for a long time, okay? And I've developed vitamins for a long time. And you got to be careful what you say. You can't say you can treat a disease with a vitamin. You get in big trouble with the FTC, all right? And so I would have to look at the levels, how much lutein, how much zeaxanthin, how much alpha lipoic acid. And there's some other things, if we're talking about your visual system, things like saffron and B complex, astaxanthin, all right? Bilberry, CoQ10, acetyl L-carnitine. There's some other things that are beneficial as well. And then you also have to look at the price because, Henry, everybody's in this to make the almighty buck, okay? And some people I think are price gouging and raping some of the customers because I look at some of these ingredients and they might have 5 ingredients and they're selling it for $49.99 or $59.99, all right? And when their cost to manufacture it is significantly less. So sometimes these things have a 12-time markup, which is crazy. I mean, our Fortifeye supplements, some of our supplements don't even have a 2-time markup. So we can bring a therapeutic dosing, evidence-based, clinically studied dosage to the public with making it affordable. Okay. I want it to be affordable. And as long as I don't lose money, then I'm pretty happy. Can't lose money. But those ingredients sound like they're pretty good ingredients. But if you could email that to me, maybe I'll give you my email address and just tell me the name, and I can research it. But then I can tell you everything about it. It might be great, and on the other side of the coin, it might not be. So email me at idude92 at iCloud.com. I'm going to spell that out. EYEDUDE 92 at the letter I, so iCloud.com. Okay?
I do 92
at iCloud.com. And that's the letter I, iCloud. So letter I, iCloud.com. And then I can send you lots of information and studies and things like that. Anybody else listening, you can feel free to email me at that address. But remember,
The,
uh,
the name of
go ahead.
the name of the product just occurred to me. It's called Retin Clear.
Yeah, I haven't heard about that one, but
Okay.
I'll research it this afternoon and then shoot me an email so I have your email and I'll tell you exactly what I think about it. Okay, it might be great.
Mm-hmm.
But remember,
Okay.
supplements,
Well, I'm
supplements,
not opposed.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I'm not opposed to. Okay.
supplements are only supposed to be supplemental to your diet. So remember, eating the foods is very important. So eating things like dark green leafy vegetables for the lutein, orange bell peppers for the zeaxanthin, wild Alaskan salmon for the astaxanthin, eggs for the protein, the phospholipids, the lutein, and the zeaxanthin. Uh, Pistachios, blueberries. So these things are very good. So make sure you eat the right foods and don't just eat at fast food, breakfast, lunch, and supper and pop some vitamins thinking it's going to help you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for the information.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And Dr. Summerton, we see people, they bring vitamins into us all the time. And a lot of these vitamins they've bought through a multi-level pyramid scheme, or they heard it on the radio, or saw it on the internet, or just had a pretty bottle. And oftentimes we see they're just filled with window dressings and non-therapeutic amounts of nutrients.
Right. And that's partly why we do carry the vitamins in office because we can actually vouch for where they're sourced from, the amount that's in each bottle, make sure it's absorbable because you can put it on the label, but it doesn't mean there's enough to have that therapeutic effect. And it doesn't mean you're going to absorb it. And it also doesn't mean it's in the right combination of the nutrients, too. So, it's overwhelming for the consumer out there, even us, when you see how many choices are, and that's why we really focus on the good quality to know that we can make a beneficial difference to our patients.
Absolutely. So you can check out the supplements that we've been involved in developing at fortifeye.com. That's Fortifeye, fortifeye.com. I'm going to give you the phone number twice. Toll free number you can call 866-503-9746. That's 866-503-9746. An example is our Fortifeye Complete, our Fortifeye Next Gen Macular Defense. We've changed those formulas 17 times in the last 20 years based on research we're involved in, ongoing national, international research. You know, we are constantly upgrading the formula, whether it's the delivery system, the chemical structure of a particular nutrient, a new nutrient, taking a nutrient away. So Fortifeye is an evolving company. Our motto is based on the right science, the right ingredients, right for you. Also, when you go to the Fortifeye website, you can go to the science section and you can see, you know, the information in the clinical studies, why we put specific nutrients at specific levels. So check it out. Also, before we take the next call, I do want to mention that I am going to be at the Fortifeye Nutrition Center today at 1 o'clock. All right. So this is August 2nd, second day of the Dr. Mike Boot Camp. I will be at the Fortifeye Nutrition Center in Clearwater, right there on McMullen Booth Road, next to Publix in the Bayside Bridge Plaza from 1 to 3. Come on by if you want to taste some of the proteins we've developed, whether it's the vegan super protein, the whey grass-fed whey isolate, or the super protein. You know, we'll mix them up and let y'all taste them. So come on out today from 1 to 3 at the Fortifeye Nutrition Center. All right, let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Mark in Brantford. Mark, good morning. Thanks for holding.
Good morning, Dr. Lange and Dr. Summerton. Everything you share is highly beneficial. I tried to phone this one in last week, but I did not have the phone number handy. But last week is the first time I found out you were from New Orleans. And 40 years ago in 1985, I went to New Orleans. Excuse me, my voice is a little messy. And I picked up this amazing, beautiful postcard showing New Orleans on the Mississippi, and it shows 10 separate sites plus their year of construction. So it's things like the Jackson Brewery, the upper Montalvo, what is it? Hang on. The upper Pontalbo, the Natchez, which is the riverboat,
Right.
the Cabilda, St. Louis Cathedral, the Presbytère, the lower Pontalba, Café du Monde, and French Market. It's a big 11-inch by 5-inch card. It's beautiful. I've had it 40 years, and I actually keep it displayed. So I just wanted to share that from a cultural standpoint.
Yeah, that's my old stomping grounds. There's nothing like New Orleans, a place to visit. It's the funnest town in the world. It really is. Although I
can't believe
raised
I
my
have a
family
card
in
after 40
Florida.
Yeah. All right, you guys have a great day. Thanks.
All right, Mark, thanks. Wow. And if anybody has any New Orleans memorabilia and you don't want it, you can send it to me. If you come into the Lange Eye Institute, the new wing that we just built, I have a lot of art from New Orleans. So we've got some really cool French Quarter art and river boats and things like that. I even have a fleur de lis signed by the Cajun Cannon. And who knows who the Cajun Cannon is? That's Bobby Hebert. Quarterback from the New Orleans Saints back in my day. All right, phone lines are open. If you got a question, give us a call. Dr. Susan Somerton and myself, Dr. Michael Lange, we're here to answer those questions. Remember, this never replaces a comprehensive eye evaluation or a medical evaluation. This is for educational purposes only. The phone lines are 813-282-8283. That's 813-282-8283. I want to talk briefly before we go to the next call. A lot of you out there that are overweight tend to be lazy and don't want to really take the time to do the exercise and eat properly. Therefore, you go to your doctor and you get put on. Now, I understand if you're dramatically overweight, absolutely. Then you can always look at the benefits have to outweigh the risks. But if you're just 50 pounds overweight, you can do it naturally very quickly, believe me. And I've got friends of mine that were 200 pounds overweight that have done it naturally as well. So one of the issues with GLP-1 receptor agonist drugs, they're not without inherent risks. And one of the risks is sarcopenia, and that's muscle wasting. And the reason for that is your appetite is curbed dramatically, so you're not eating. So you got to eat protein. If anything, when you're on a GLP-1 receptor drug, eat some protein. Have a whey protein shake. Whey is the most bioavailable protein, or our vegan super protein we've created. The amino acid profile is just as high as whey, but you got to pound the protein. And when you're dieting, you got to get the protein. You can eliminate the carbs and you can eliminate a lot of the other stuff, but you got to have enough protein. And Dr. Somerton, we've been, researching this for years, and we try to practice what we preach. But we see this not only in people that are on GLP-1 receptor agonists and people that are dieting, but our lion's share of our patients just aren't getting enough protein today, are they?
Right, and it's something you need to focus on with each meal. And especially with the GLPs and even the older population, it causes you to not eat as much. But if you're not eating that protein, like you said, you start losing that muscle. And I've seen studies with the semaglutide that weight loss is up to 40% muscle loss, not, fat loss. And so really, if you are dieting, you have to look at 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal, not just wait till the last meal of the day to have your big piece of steak or something like that, but actually spread it apart. That helps you feel full so that you're not more inclined to have the unhealthy foods. And one of the problems too, people get where they can't digest their food and it gets backed up. So they have to avoid those fried foods. And also, you get nausea from those drugs. So again, you've got to avoid the bad foods and eat the good foods. So it's not a free pass to be able to just eat, McDonald's once a day and lose weight because it's less calories because you're just eating one tiny meal. It's about concentrating on eating the good foods and getting the physical activity. So in general, we want to see at least 150 minutes of aerobic exercise, getting that heart rate up. And then we want to see 30 minutes at least 3 times a week of that resistance training. So you're using that muscle with weights or resistance bands to make sure you're not losing that muscle. And then hydrate. You've got to make sure you're not dehydrating yourself and drinking that water and those hydrating foods like cucumber and watermelon.
Now, Dr. Somerton, I worked out this morning. I hit triceps. I did the vibration plate, and then I did cardio for 30 minutes early this morning. And then both of us had the same breakfast. What'd you have for breakfast?
We did. I had 2 eggs, some arugula, get my greens in, and I had a beet and a little bit of goat cheese on top. And it was
There you
quite
go.
enjoyable.
High protein and delicious and low carbs and low calories. So I had 5 eggs, but I only put one yolk in. The yolk's not bad, but when you're trying to lose weight, you want less calories, less carbohydrates, and even less fat if you really want to lose weight fast. So I had 5 egg whites with one yolk, and I put some shallots in there, and I did put some goat cheese on it as well. And then I had some pomegranate, the seeded pomegranate that comes in a little container. And remember, I had worked out. So if you're trying to lose weight, you don't want to eat a lot of fruit because it's high in sugar. However, after working out, you do want to have some fruit or some honey because that's going to help replenish muscle glycogen. Remember, you can tolerate sugar. If you're ever going to have to eat sugar, do it right after working out. So some of you out there have a sweet tooth, and no matter what I tell you, you're not going to get rid of the pumpkin pie, the Rocky Road ice cream, or whatever. So if you're going to eat it, don't have it for supper as the last part of your meal. Have it right after working out. So if you're going to work out, have like our fortified grass-fed whey protein, and you can put some ice cream in it and make a really cool shake out of it. Or if you got to have the pecan pie or cheesecake, have it right after pumping iron, right after biking, right after running, and then you'll metabolize it and it won't go to fat. All right. Talking about that, we're getting ready to take a call, so just hold on one more second. I was just holding up the Fortifeye grass-fed whey protein isolate. This is an amazing protein. It is American cows, non-denatured. That means it hasn't been heated and destroyed, and it hasn't had acid washing either. Most isolates are heated to 200 degrees for over 30 minutes, and then they're acid washed. That destroys it twice. That denatures the protein twice. And they fill it with a lot of chemicals. If you look at our ingredients and other ingredients on this particular protein called Fortified Grass-Fed Whey Isolate, there isn't any. All it is grass-fed whey protein. Nothing else is in it, not even any flavoring. So you can take this, you can take a banana and a pineapple, blend it together with some water or some goat's milk or A2 cow's milk. It can be a complete meal or it can be post-recovery. And all of you on GLP1 receptor agonists, you might want to have this a couple of times a day to get 42 grams of protein. Whether or not you put fruit in it is up to you. You can just put water in it and unflavored. So at least you're getting the 20 grams of protein with 0 carbs and only, I think, 80 calories. So remember, dieting, pound the protein. Think about grass-fed whey protein isolate by Fortifeye. And then if you want vanilla or chocolate, our Fortifeye Super Protein I'm holding up is from New Zealand, grass-fed cows. It's a whey protein concentrate. Organic stevia gives it this flavor. It's vanilla, chocolate, delicious. Also super low calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and the best non-denatured grass-fed whey protein on the market. All right, we're going back to the phones. Let's go to Steve in Clearwater. Steve, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, I was wondering. By the way, this week, yesterday, I turned 70. But more importantly to you is this September, around your birthday, will be the 19th year that I've listened to you on the radio. So things
Time
are
flies.
yeah, and then but I didn't start calling in till later, so that's when it was downhill after that.
Well, Steve, happy birthday. I mean, 70, that's a big milestone. I'm right behind you. Heck, I'm 62 and Dr. Summit is still young. I think she's barely over 18.
There you go. That's perfect. She's got plenty of time to help people. I was wondering, is there an inverse relationship between cataracts and retinal and MD and macular degeneration? Because most people start getting the cataract changes years before the cataracts start bothering them. And without those changes in the molecular structure of in the cornea block UV?
Well, that's a valid question, and I got a good answer for you. And I've been doing this a long time, and I do see people after cataract surgery more prone to developing macular degeneration. So the question is it just age related and they're getting older? A. B, was some sort of inflammatory response from the cataract surgery increasing the risk of macular degeneration? B. C, now since the cataract has been removed, remember, this is God's way of protecting your retina, all right? The cataract is absorbing the harmful UV rays and the blue rays from the sun and from the digital apparatuses that we're in front of all day long. So that's God's way of protecting your retina. Now you're removing it. So now more of this harmful radiation, UV, and especially blue light, can get to your retina. And so what I always recommend to all my patients after cataract surgery, and I think it's helped, because I think we've slowed it down in my patients. And Dr. Summit and I, we talk about nutrition with our patients at length. And I think it does help. I don't have any clinical studies to prove it. I don't know if there are some. There may be. But if we increase macular pigment density by taking carotenoids or eating the right foods, that's why I developed Fortifeye Focus and Fortifeye Focus and Brain. We have concentrated lutein, zeaxanthin isomers, and astaxanthin in that, and we have the cognizine in the brain one. And this does increase macular pigment density. So the question is, does increasing macular pigment density, especially after cataract surgery, protect the retina against macular degeneration? Dr. Summerton, do we have any definitive proof of this? Is there any studies I'm not aware of?
I think there we actually have both studies. We have one that says it helps and one that says it hurts. So I think it's not just that one thing, it's taking into the whole picture. We know they're both associated what we call oxidative damage, which can be just from UV light, but smoking and poor diet, and they all are related in aging, and it's just the overall picture. And we do see the overall health is going to help your eye health too. And so it's again, we've got to look at the big picture, the lutein and zeaxanthin that we talk about all the time. Those have been both proven to help with cataracts and with macular degeneration. So that's why we really focus on those two carotenoids, because we also know they have to pass the blood-brain barrier and get the blood retina barrier and actually penetrate the eye to make a difference.
Right. And here's a little case study. My mom, who is 97 now, had her cataracts removed, oh, I don't know, 15 years ago. And she's been on Fortifeye Focus the whole time. And she has no evidence. Last time I looked at her eye was, I don't know, about 3-4 weeks ago. No evidence of macular degeneration at 97, not even one little drusen. By the same token, my aunt, all right, who just doesn't believe in vitamins no matter what, I can give them to her for free, and she's not going to take them. So, and she's younger than mom. She had cataract surgery about the same time. She does have macular degeneration, a moderate case of it. So, genetics are similar. So who knows? But I think eating the foods, like I said, the dark green leafy vegetables, orange bell peppers, goji berries, wild Alaskan salmon, eggs, blueberries, pistachios. This is very important. But an insurance policy, especially after cataract surgery, is taking a good supplement with lutein, zeaxanthin isomers, and astaxanthin, like Fortifeye Focus. But there's a lot of companies that do make these supplements. I'm a little bit biased to Fortifeye Focus, of course.
I had one more question. One of the things that happens in nature is that as we go from sunrise to noon, the amount of blue light increases, okay? So in nature, animals would have a natural slow change to a high blue light content of the light coming into their eyes. But in modern society, we're inside, and then all of a sudden we go outside, and we all of a sudden, in other words, plants, for instance, if you take leaves from a plant in the morning, they don't have many antioxidants in them. But if you take the plants from around 11 or 12, they've built up antioxidants to protect them from the sun. Well, couldn't the retina do the same thing since we over time in evolution, we've never had a big increase all of a sudden in blue light. It comes over a gradual 4-hour period so the eyes can adapt their chemistry slowly. Whereas in modern society, we are inside, we go out, and all of a sudden, bang, we have all this blue light within seconds.
Well, yeah, but you also have to remember in modern society, now we have digital computers, screens, iPhones in front of us from morning to evening.
Right.
And that's emitting a lot of blue light. And we do see people that are very young, that are computer programmers in front of the computer all day, or gamers that are having age-related changes in their macula much earlier in the ball game now. So that's why we recommend blue light defense lenses, blue light shield lenses. This is kind of the double whammy, Steve, taking something like Fortifeye Focus or Fortifeye Focus and Brain and wearing blue filtering lenses. That's kind of the double whammy of protection. So we're protecting it from coming in. And if it gets in, the nutrients help with oxidative stress from the inside. So from the inside out. That's what I recommend.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, well, another thing too is that they're finding, we know that blue light affects the amount of melatonin in the pineal gland. That's what causes your circadian rhythm.
Right. That's a whole nother show. We're going to talk about sleep. And that's why people that are on the computer a lot are sleep impaired and they don't go through REM phase of sleep. But that's a whole nother show. Okay, Steve?
Well, yeah, but the whole thing is other parts of the brain are affected by it too. The hippocampus changes in chemistry, the cortex, and so on. Too long to talk about now, but I think that this might be affecting what psychologically why kids that watch computers all the time have psychiatric issues. Anyway, gotta go.
All right. We're going to go to the next call.
Thanks.
And, Steve does bring up a point after we're going to take a call in just a second. So hold on, Hugh. Susan, we talked about this last week to recap that lutein, which is in our Fortifeye Focus and our Focus and Brain, not only good for potentially for the retina and the skin, but wasn't there some evidence that it may combat against depression?
Right. That was a new study that came out because lutein bypasses the brain first. And so the brain is going to take what it needs. And they found it actually uptakes in what we call the emotional centers of the brain, like the hippocampus. And that's when they realized the depletion, low levels of lutein is more associated with depression. And we increase the lutein and it actually helped patients with that. And also what Steve was talking about, just something else to think about with also depression and making you feel happy is when we're inside, there isn't as much red light. And the red light is that light that's good for us. The sun always has like the red and the near infrared about 40%. And that's what's good for our mitochondria. That's kind of the energy of our cells. That what reduces inflammation. That's what's good for our skin and our eyes and can penetrate it. And the problem is with our indoor artificial light now, we've taken out that red, and to keep it brighter, we've added more of the blue because it's a shorter wavelength, doesn't drain as much energy, so cheaper to run. It doesn't create heat, but we're missing that nice, healthy red light. And that's why we always talk about going outside sunrise and sunset to also make us feel better.
I wonder if police officers are more prone to macular degeneration because of that exposure to those gigantic blue lights. And I haven't seen those in my rearview mirror lately. That's a good thing.
Well, hopefully it's not excessive blue light from that at all.
All right, so we're going back to the phones. If you got a question, give us a call, 813-282-8283. We're coast to coast. It's live video streaming all over the world. That's 813-282-8283. Let's go to Ocala, Florida. I think it's Hugh. Hugh, good morning. Thanks for holding.
Yes, thank you, and good morning. When I was 60 years old, I had cataract surgery in both eyes. I'm in my low 80s right now. Is there a chance of cataracts coming back? And if not, why not?
Well, if your cataracts grew back, you would be in the Guinness World Book of Records, and I'd be right beside you. So, nope, cataracts are never coming back. They removed the human crystalline lens. It's gone forever. Now, you can get something that a lot of people call a secondary cataract or posterior subcapsular haze, and you might have already had this. This is when you kind of get a dirty window. you get some scar tissue that forms, a film that forms in the bag that they put the implant in your eye. And you have to go in and have a YAG laser capsulotomy done just once in your life. That opens up the bag and clears it. So have you ever had that procedure done?
No, I haven't. No.
How long ago did you have your cataracts removed?
When I was 60, that was about 20 years ago.
Wow. And you haven't had to have that haze. That's good. You had a really good cataract surgeon with a lot of finesse and that didn't disrupt anything. So it's still possible to get some of that haze later in life. So yeah, you
Yeah.
won't grow back out because they've removed the organ that actually had the cataract, the human crystalline lens. So it will not grow back.
If you don't have your cataracts removed, would you eventually have total blindness?
Well, this is one of the leading causes of blindness in third world countries, all right? Because they don't have cataract surgery and they become dense and hyper mature. And yes, you do go blind and it can cause all sorts of, horrendous problems, retinal detachments, advanced glaucoma. So today we're blessed in this area, especially in Florida, to have a lot of great ophthalmologists that are fantastic cataract surgeons. Remember, cataract surgery, as you know, well, ever since you had it, it's even simpler. It's not a simple procedure, but it's a relatively fast procedure. I mean, a competent, good cataract surgeon can have that cataract out in 5 minutes, pain-free.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's nothing to be afraid of like it used to be. Years and years ago, you had to cut the eye open, suture the eye back up, and you had sandbags on the sides of your eye, and you had to stay in the hospital. But things have
Yeah.
changed.
Yeah. Living in Florida now without cataracts, is it more important to wear sunglasses?
Yes, absolutely. The closer you get to the equator, the more important it is to wear sunglasses. I see a lot of people on Instagram, Facebook, X, that are talking about sun gazing, how it's good for your eye. And I always try to chime in and tell them in a polite way that they're idiots. Okay. So do not sun gaze. Now you can go out in the morning without sunglasses, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. And in the evening, 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening, where you get the red light and it's not as harmful. But even at that time, do not stare at the sun. Just don't look directly at it, but you don't need to be wearing sunglasses at that time. But if you're out there from 10 o'clock till 4 o'clock, yeah, it's a good idea to have a good pair of polarized sunglasses on.
Okay. Well, thank you for your information. Thank you.
All right. And Dr. Somerton, do you see this also where they, on the internet especially, and I've got some patients, I'm sure you do too, that think that sun gazing is really good for them?
We do, but unfortunately, I haven't heard it lately. That it's pretty rare, but I'm not sure. I guess from a old traditional practice, but just by, I would think when you actually look at the sun, it kind of hurts. So your body is sort of telling you that's not the right thing to do.
Right. And if you go into a suntan booth, make sure you wear your goggles. All right. Not sunglasses, wear the goggles, or just stay out of the suntan booth. I like the natural sun. And don't be afraid of the sun. A little tan is good for you. Just don't get sunburned. All right. You're listening to Ask the Doctors. I'm Dr. Michael Lange with my co host, Dr. Susan Somerton. We both hail from the Lange Eye Institute in the Villages, Florida. So if you'd like to come see us for an eye exam with a nutritional twist, come to the Lange Eye Institute in the Villages. And that phone number for the Lange Eye Institute is 352-753-4014. That's 352-753-4014. Also, you can go to my website, drmichaellange.com. That's drmichaellange.com or langeyecare.com. And I do ask you to follow me on Instagram. I'm building the Instagram page back up to the way it was before a Russian lady hijacked it. So we got about 250,000 followers. I got a lot more to go. So the only legitimate Instagram site with my name on it is Dr. Michael Lange _ Dr. Michael Lange _ on Instagram. And you can subscribe, follow me. You can like things, share things, whatever you want. But also on Instagram, every now and then it's going to benefit you. So every now and then I'll post something which has like a flash sale where sometimes as much as 50% off, but usually it's about 30% off for a 24-hour period. And I'll flash that on Instagram so you can save money for the Fortifeye Vitamins. So follow me on Instagram at Dr. Michael Lange _ And then I want to talk a little bit about, well, first, before we talk about something called OptiLift, since Dr. Summerton and I both had eggs this morning, why do we eat eggs? Back in the 80s and the 90s, everybody said eggs were bad and they were going to kill you. Well, there's some good studies on eggs. It's one of the best sources of protein. It has a bioavailability score of 100, which is basically perfect protein. Just one egg a week. I'm talking just one egg a week. 47% lower risk of Alzheimer's, all right, dementia. One egg a week, two eggs a week, all right, decreased brain pathology tied to Alzheimer's, okay? And we think it's the dietary choline that accounts for these protective effects in the brain. So 2 eggs a week, even better for the brain. Now, here we go. 4 eggs a week, 49% reduction in the development of late-stage macular degeneration, and 62% reduced risk of developing wet macular degeneration due to the lutein, zeaxanthin, choline that's in it, and maybe something else that we just don't know. So that's 4 eggs a week. So in my opinion, everybody should be eating at least 4 eggs a week. Heck, I had 5 today. Don't worry about the cholesterol. Remember, pound the protein. If you're really trying to build muscle and stay in shape, you need 1 gram of protein per body weight. If you're just an average person and you still want to stay in shape, you need 70% of your body weight in grams of protein. So pound the protein. Lastly, I'm holding it up again. I'm really pushing this. Our grass-fed whey protein isolate is the most bioavailable protein, PDCAAS score of 1. That's a perfect score. And it's non-denatured, meaning it hadn't been heated. Non-denatured. Grass-fed means that's high in omega-3 instead of omega-6. Microfiltered instead of acid washed to remove the fat and the lactose. And it's non-flavored. So grass-fed whey protein isolate. Make your smoothie. Start consuming it today, especially if you're on a diet or a GLP1 receptor agonist. And then the super protein, which is Fortifeye Super Protein, is grass-fed New Zealand protein cows, New Zealand cows. Also, it's vanilla and chocolate. Remember, the one isolate is unflavored. This is vanilla and chocolate. So the gist of this show today is eat more protein and less of the terrible foods that everybody is consuming on this sad diet. That's the standard American diet. Also, all you men out there, eggs will increase your testosterone naturally. Also, local honey will increase your testosterone. Pomegranates will increase your testosterone, and a good whey protein isolate. So now you have it. The perfect protein drink for men is the whey protein isolate made by Fortifeye, a little local honey, pomegranate, and a couple of eggs. Boom, blend it all together, and you will be in good shape. All right, we're getting ready to go back to the phones. If you got a question, give Dr. Summerton and myself a call at 813-282 8283. That's 813-282-8283. Remember, if you just tuned in, I will be at the Fortifeye Nutrition Center at 1 o'clock today from 1 to 3 in Clearwater, Florida. All right, let's go back to the phones. Margaret in Tampa. Margaret, good morning.
Good morning. This is Margaret in Tampa. I have a question about, I had cataract surgery this past January, and I still have floaters. Is that normal? Is that a problem?
Dr. Summerton, you want to address that?
We can have normal floaters and we can have the bad floaters. Normal floaters just kind of come and go, and they can be different shapes and sizes because you're actually seeing the shadow of little particles that pass through in the gel of your eye, we call the vitreous. Anytime there is floaters, we want to make sure you get a full retina check because we want to make sure it's not blood floating around, and we want to make sure it's not pieces of the retina that have torn or at risk put you for a detachment. So as long as you've had that full retina check and they haven't gotten any worse, then you should be fine with the floaters. Patients ask me all the time what to do about floaters. And there are some supplements out there, but it's hard to prove that they actually work because in general, they either come and go or they kind of go away on their own. I've had some people tell me when they take the collagen that has improved it. I know myself, I had some floaters and I take collagen. They have gone away. But again, we don't know whether that's just naturally gone away, but collagen's not going to hurt you. So it's just taking note if they change, if there's flashes of light or any change in your side vision as well, that's a sign to get to the eye doctor right away.
Okay, let me say this though about you said detachment. I've had my retina detached ever since 2012. So, and I had the cataract surgery just this past January. So I don't think they're connected in one sense. And if you can tell me about that, also let me know what type of collagen you are talking about.
So the detachment itself, you probably would have had floaters. And then and that actually could have made the cataract progress faster when they repaired that. But the floaters may be a little bit more visible after your cataract surgery. But I am assuming since you were at risk because you had it before, they did a full retina check and that your retina is fine. I can't imagine they wouldn't do that when they did the surgery on it. And the collagen that we prefer is marine peptide collagen. So when you look at the label, it'll say like bovine or marine. The marine is a smaller peptide. And so that way you get more absorption and you get a more beneficial effect.
And also, I'm going to chime in, Margaret. When you're looking at marine uh, peptides, look for marine collagen tripeptides. And I think the only one available in the United States is called Morikol. And that's what we use. That's the one we use in our Fortifeye Rejuvenate. So Fortifeye Rejuvenate has the marine collagen tripeptide. Plus, we added German hyaluronic acid, rice ceramides, and Dermaval, which is 9 superfoods, along with liposomal vitamin C made here in America, a little biotin, and a very mild multivitamin mixture with no beta carotene. So that's called Fortifeye Rejuvenate. And it's also amazing for your skin, hair, nails, and joints.
Okay, if I have one more, if you don't mind.
Mhm.
As you were speaking of the detachment, since that was, I had that happen before the cataract surgery. Are you saying that it's normal then to have the floaters?
Well, prior to cataract surgery, when you had the detachment, you will get floaters oftentimes with that detachment. Then they do the retinal detachment, they fix it via surgery, and that can accelerate the cataract, okay? But now, and then you have to have cataract surgery. But now, since the retina is detached, chances are it's fixed pretty good, but you have to be cognizant, like Dr. Somerton said, you have to be aware of any sudden onset of flashing lights or thousands of tiny little floaters in your vision. If that happens, you got to get to your local eye doctor immediately.
Okay, because I never noticed any floaters until after the cataract surgery. That's why I
Good.
was concerned.
You're golden.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for the call. All right. I want to make a couple of little quick announcements before we take the next call. The company called iDaptix. iDaptix is more than it's a low vision device, but it's more than just a visual enhancement device. It's actually AI technology. It has a visual assistant named Ivy that tells you whatever is in your path in front of you. It is amazing technology. So people that are blind can use this, all right, technology. But if you're vision impaired, you have macular degeneration, you have worse than 20/70 vision, we're going to be doing some free demonstrations at the Lange Eye Institute in a few weeks. The company iDaptix will be at the Lange Eye Institute. All you got to do is call, maybe speak to Heather or Tammy, Heather preferably, and get on the list for an appointment, and they'll tell you what time to come in. It's no charge to you, and you can see the very latest in low vision technology to help you maintain your independence and maybe even regain your independence. So we can have we can have 4, or we can have 100 people. We'll see everybody. It might take a few days, but it's called iDaptix, and you can Google that and look about it before coming in. But if you're vision impaired, you know somebody that's vision impaired with macular degeneration or central macular vision loss, call and get on the list to be to see the iDaptix low vision device. All right, let's go back to the phones. PCast in Clearwater. Good morning.
Yes, hi. Good morning, Dr. Lange. I live in Clearwater, like you just said, and I have some trouble. I've been 68 now, and I've been progressing for a while, and I need to take care of my health. What would be good for me? I have diabetes, of course, with glaucoma with that. Arthritis, which I was taking some DHA. It seems to be working okay. And I need help with my weight. I'm 30 pounds overweight.
Okay, so number one,
that's enough to get started.
and I'm gonna have to talk quickly because we don't have much time. But the number one thing you can do, the number one thing is get down to your ideal body weight. Maybe you want to join me on my 30 days of Dr. Lange boot camp. So I plan on losing 25 pounds. Now, it doesn't look like you need to lose 25 pounds, but I really do. And if you lose that weight, everything improves, all right? Blood sugar improves, blood pressure improves, arthritic symptoms improve, even glaucomatous pressures can improve. So there's a few supplements I usually recommend along the way. Probably a good omega-3 once or twice a day, like Fortifeye Super Omega. Maybe the next gen curcumin, all right? But we also have, if you go to our website, we have something called the Healthy Weight Loss Bundle. And that incorporates all of this, and it tells you about the diet. I even have images of foods that we've created that you can consume. So go to Fortifeye.com, the website, and go to the Healthy Weight Loss Bundle, okay? And with that, we're out of time, but we'll expand on this next week.
Is your nutrition center, is it open on Sunday?
Not on Sunday, but I'll be there today today from 1 to 3 if you want to come and I pick my brain.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Dr. Summerton, you got 10 seconds to exit.
Wishing everybody a happy and healthy day.
All right. Thanks for tuning in and listening to Ask the Doctors this morning. God bless you and God bless America. We're out of here. Have a great Saturday.